Okay, we're gonna. A while ago I said that you'd have to flip the rod around the other way. That's wrong. What I meant was the piston will be the other way around. On the passenger side, that notch is going to have to be forward, to the front of the motor that way. All right. On the driver's side of the motor, the piston will be facing this way for the notch to go forward. That's what I meant. Flip the piston around, not the rod. The rod will still, the edge that goes against the weight on the crank will still be on the right hand side, because you're on the other side of the motor and it's on the right hand side. And I can show you that right quick. Let me go back here. See, as I showed you a while ago, so on the driver's side of the motor, see, when it goes in, you can see that's lined up with a hole. The piston will be going that way against the weight of the crank. All right, on the passenger side, it'll actually be the same, basically the same way. It's just you'll turn the piston the other way. All right, to line up, see, it's got to go to the right. The camphor on that rod will go that way, the right-hand side, just like it did on the passenger side of the motor. Except that notch on the piston will be heading face forward. So the writing on the piston will be correct, not upside down. But it has to be upside down on the passenger side to make it, put the notch forward. All right, we're going to heat this rod up. We're on number 3, as I said a while ago. Torch going here. And these handles here, you get at Harbor Freight, man, or killer screw on top of your tank. Might want to think about that. All right, here we go. We're going to heat the eye on this rod. As I said earlier, you got to heat it even, both sides. You just want the eye hot. You don't want the whole rod hot, just the eye. Now I'm holding the rod with my hand. It gets a little warm. It don't get so bad you can't stand it when you get up there pretty close to the muddy red you want. This torch here, this handle I put on here, it does a lot better than a regular torch handle. Seems like it gets hotter quicker. Seems like to me. It's already starting to turn a little bit muddy red. But when it's amazing when you heat the rod in and freeze the pins, because, your pins contract in cold and your rod expands with heat. So it makes it slide together a lot better. But you got to do it fast, because it don't take it but a minute to it reverses itself and tightens up. So you got to move quick. You can't mess around. You got to lay on it. You got to move fast, because I've got that pins in there in the freezer in the office. So I have to go in there and get one. I get this hot as I want it. You don't want it cherry red. You just want it muddy red. If you get it too hot, you can damage your rod. Which these rods here are pretty strong. They take a whole lot, but still, like I said, this pushes it together a lot better. I mean, it sure ain't like taking the pins out of pistons. I actually damaged a few pistons, which the old pistons didn't matter. Getting the pins out, I pressed them out on my bearing press, because I didn't want to heat the rods to take them out. All right, I think that's hot enough. Looking pretty good. See that kind of muddy looking color? All right, I'm gonna go get a pin right quick. Hold on. All right, here we go. Piston's facing forward. I got my camphor facing forward. Here goes the pin. And that's it. Look at that, baby. And I got the pin in just about where I wanted it to. Perfect. I'm gonna spray a little WD right here. You know, I'll let all this cool off on its own. I ain't gonna try to quench it or nothing, just let that rod cool on its own. And that's how you press the pistons onto the rods. Put the pins in floating pins. All right. Thank you, guys. I hope you've been liking and subscribing. I hope I can get some more going on here. But I'll be putting rings on. I'll be showing you all that, putting the rings on the pistons, putting the pistons in, torque specs, doing bearing clearance checks, stuff like that. All right, guys. Thanks much. Mustang Rick out.